comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. It was not a good night last night. I could not fucking fall asleep. I think I first went to bed at about 2 o'clock Australian time, which is like 9:30 Indian time, which is not bedtime for me. I've been staying up till like 2 a.m. in India every night. So despite the fact I was absolutely fucking wrecked, I was so fucking exhausted. I could barely keep my fucking eyes open to release the podcast last night. Then I hop into bed and it's just a carnival. It was like trying to get to sleep on meth. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but my eyes were closed. It wasn't just the carnival in the head, it was the carnival in the bed too. Because my fucking daughter couldn't fall asleep in her new bed. And then at like 2:30, my son comes in and said he heard a scary noise. And I'm like, what did it sound like? Because you're scaring me now. I don't like scary noises either. In fact, I hate scary noises. So he jumped into bed. And then I started thinking about when I was a kid and how I would fucking wake up and be terrified by every little fucking sound too. And I'm like, I can't get angry at him for like karate kicking me in the head and not letting me fall asleep. Because when I was his age, I was the exact same. Every noise sounded like a murderer or a ghost. So then thinking about that made me think of other things in my childhood, and then it made me think about the world. Then it made me think about time. It just made me think about a whole bunch of heavy shit. And I'm like, I don't really need this at fucking 3:30 in the morning after not sleeping for like 48 hours. I wouldn't mind just having a few relaxing thoughts and drift off into a cloud of sleep. But no, I was overtired and the meth brain was in gear. So at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm like, I can't just lie here and do nothing anymore. I might as well get up and do shit. So I got up and started doing a little bit of work that I needed done for today. And then at like 6:30, I was done with the work and I still wasn't tired at all. But I'm like, I'm going to have to jump into bed. Then I was wide awake for a little while, but I must have fallen asleep because I ended up fucking out. But I couldn't sleep all day because I had plans to meet up with my mate Horn and Dino and fucking Georgie before Horn goes back to fucking England today. And I couldn't cancel. I wanted to cancel. My word, I wanted to cancel. But I was like, fuck, I'll just push through and I'll make up for the sleep tonight. I'll get a good night's sleep tonight. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen either because I needed a quadruple strength black tea just to do this podcast now. And now I'm jacked on fucking tea. So it's going to take me a few more days to level out. Emotionally as well. Emotionally, I'm up and down too. Although it was good catching up with my mates. Good catching up with Dino, Georgie, fucking Horn. Besides Horn, everyone was drinking 0% beer as well. They were paying $8 for a fucking schooner of alcohol-free beer. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Because they were driving, they still wanted to have a beer, but they didn't want the alcohol. I don't understand alcohol-free beer. That would do my nut in. And for $8 a fucking scooey, no thank you. Just give me a glass of ice with a couple of fucking cubes in it, baby. There's no way I could drink the alcohol-free beer either. It'd just be too fucking tempting. It's like everything beer is meant to be, minus the joy. You've taken out the joy. That's really what you've done with alcohol-free beer. How much joy and excitement and fun is in this beverage? Zero. So why are you drinking it? Because it reminds me of good times. It reminds me when I could live my life. Anyway, it's Friday night. It's that time of the week again. It's time for Fucked Up Friday. So if you have a wild story that you would like to get read out on this podcast, head to my website, boylecomedy.com. There's a section there for Fucked Up Fridays. Work it out, put your story in there, and go into the running to have your story immortalized by Le Boyle on Le Podcast. So head to the website, I'll say it again, boylecomedy.com. But if you would like to bypass a few tight asses in that line, and you would also like to support the podcast financially to keep ads off it, but mainly just to buy me a pint because you're good cunts. So yeah, the best way to do that is by joining the Patreon, sign up. It's a pint a month. It's fucking nothing to you, although it is quite a lot to some of you. To some of you, it really is your last few dollars every month. And I appreciate it. It's either going to a drug dealer, a bartender, or me. You're not giving it to charity, let's put it that way, unless you call my Patreon charity. Anyway, support the podcast, sign up to the Patreon. The links are on my website as well, boylecomedy.com. You'll see it. Or you head to my social medias. The links are in my bios there. Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Or just fucking message me directly. Say, hey Boyle, thanks for whatever the fuck you're doing. I want to buy you a pint. And I'll send you the link directly. Anyway, let's move on to this week's Fucked Up Friday. So this week's Fucked Up Friday is sent in by a lovely lady representing the Plains Cree people of Canada. Now, I had no fucking idea what the Plains Cree were until about 3 or 4 months ago, and now I have 2 Plains Cree listeners, and I know everything about it. And these 2 aren't fucking pretendians either. These are legit rezo fucking Plains Cree. And fuck the pretendians. The pretendians can all suck my fucking Tugoy. Tugai. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's fucking dick in Plains Cree. By the way, pretendians are apparently like white Canadians that try and fucking find just a little bit of native blood in there so they can fucking rot the system and be as woke as they possibly can. Fuck them. You're either on the fucking res or you're off. Anyway, let's move on to the story. So this was sent in by my lady out there, Talia. I don't know if she wanted her name read out, but it's out there now, and it might not even be Talia. It could be Talia. Who knows? Anyway, let's get on with the story. So this story happened in my early 20s, maybe 22 or 23. I used dating sites to meet new people in new cities. I had just moved to Montreal, Quebec. I'd never been on a date with a girl before, so I gave it a go, knowing damn fucking well I'd never eat out a pussy. Well, you're missing out there. I'm sure it's much more appetizing than sucking dick. So this chick had crossbones tattooed on her face, looked like a real punk, and if I was keen, that should have been my first red flag. Got to her place late afternoon, walked past her flatmate's room, and both of them are just raw dogging it on the bed with the door open, not even sure if there was a door, come to think of it. Alright, cool, I thought to myself. We're adults here. So I thought, fuck it, and ignored it like it was something normal. This fucking hole in the wall of an apartment was filthy as fuck. They had 3 dogs, they're all crust punks, into hard drugs and panhandle to support themselves. I'm from a middle-class farm town, Saskatchewan. I know where that is. I've got a few listeners there, but I've never had to pronounce it. I hope I'm getting close. So, Saskatchewan, and pretended to be cool. I was so fucking uncomfortable. Can't for the life of me remember her name, so I'll call her Paula. Paula wanted to go do some panhandling. Sit there with a hat and beg for money in the train station. We go for an hour, make a few dollars, head to the corner store and buy 4 1-litre extra strong beers, 15-20%. These were the cheapest of the cheapest beers, like $4 to $5 a bottle, and we head back to her place, and on the way back she asked if I'd be keen to go panhandle again, and if we made enough money we'd buy some Coke. Mind you, a gram of Coke in Canada costs about $60. Anyway, I was super keen. I was uncomfortable anyway. I wanted to get fucked up, and then Paula asked me how I do Coke, and I tapped my nose like it was a trick question, and I stupidly asked how she did Coke, and this fucking bitch tapped her arm, and I was such a noob, I didn't know you could shoot up cocaine. Another big red flag, but I ain't a quitter, so I stayed, smashed back 1 bottle, and then Paula mentioned she has to dip off for an hour to go get her meds. She was an ex-crackhead, so she needed her prescription for methadone so she wouldn't get withdrawals. I thought methadone was heroin, or do they use it for crackheads as well, to stop the itching? So she fucks off and I'm left sitting with her 2 dirty as fucking housemates that I saw fucking earlier in the day. We were watching Simpsons. I was drinking to get comfortable at this point. I eventually blacked out and tried to leave their place. When I tried to leave, their shitty little dogs escaped and I tried to help get them back inside. I woke up on the floor on some cardboard like a true fucking lowlife, covered in my own blood, no cell phone, no money. They robbed me a whole fucking $20. I asked what happened, and Paula said when she got home from the clinic, she was so high and raging, and the thought of her losing her dog sent her over the edge, and I had the absolute shit kicked out of me, and I lost my belongings outside when I tried to leave. I ended up leaving their place, took their cardboard sign that was written in French, said something along the lines of, "Anything helps please and thanks." Went sat my ass down at the train station for over an hour until this old white lady asked if I was okay. I just broke down crying. She took me to a woman's shelter. They immediately assumed I was beaten by a boyfriend, and I was too embarrassed to say I got beaten up by a chick. So I let them create their own story. They gave me some bus passes, showered me up, gave me some clothes, a mean feed, and some pamphlets for domestic violence. I went to the mall with the $100 of small bills and coins I made from panhandling and cancelled my phone. And it turned out I was due for an upgrade, so I got a brand new phone that day. Went home with a fucking wild-ass story. I looked like a sad piece of shit for a couple of weeks afterwards and continued to panhandle because I couldn't get a job with the black eyes, so milked the situation, and I've never dated another bitch with face tattoos again. That's a warning to everyone. Steer clear of boyfriends or girlfriends that have face tattoos. Unless you have a face tattoo as well, then it's perfect. It's a match made in heaven. But you can't be the only person in a relationship with a face tattoo. It doesn't work like that. It's either 2 face tattoos or no face tattoos. Anyway, Talia, thank you for the story. Keep representing the Cree. I know a lot about it now. That'll do for tonight. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you the fuck later.